Hi guys, and welcome to my 1GP to 1 mil flipping guide for old school RuneScape. I made one of these about a week ago, which was going from 1GP to max cash stack, but I thought I would possibly elaborate a little bit more on the introductory section, because this is arguably the hardest point of flipping. You don't have any experience, you don't have any money, so it takes a while to get started, and I thought it would help clarify a couple things about this section. So what I'm going to be going over in this guide is how to pick items that are actually going to be profitable at this amount of money, and how to find their margins without losing too much money or taking big risk at all. And yeah, so if you're new to flipping, definitely stick around and let's get started. So for what you should know already, just some basic things about the Grand Exchange, how to find a margin, and just some information on the GE buying limits. If you don't know about any of these things, I will link a beginner flipping guide in the description. So you can go ahead, watch this video, and then go have a look at that one later. I'll try to keep it simple, but if you need a little more information about the basics, there will be a guide in the description. So for the most important part of flipping at any stage is the item selection. Now what I'm going to heavily recommend for those of you who don't really have any money, I would recommend starting at maybe 50k. You could start picking items like this, and that is glue scroll items from the easy, medium, and hard category. And that's the exact same thing I mentioned in my last video. We're going to go more in depth into the items and which ones you could actually try, because they are the only items you're going to get good margins on for cheap. The reason is because they do not trade a lot. What you're going to be looking for are items between 50 and 300 or something traded daily, because that way you will be able to check the margin of the item, but still be assured that you will be able to actually flip at least a couple of them, or else you will be breaking even or losing money even. So that's why we're going to choose items. We're not going to choose the slowest of the items, like 10 or 20 traded a day, because that'll be pretty risky if you're going to manually check the margin. But yeah, so let's go ahead and look at some examples. Okay, so we're going to be starting with 50k today, and I'm going to go through the complete process of how I pick low-level items. Now, of course, you could start flipping from 1GP, but more often than not, it's going to be a lot easier to just get to 50k, kill some cows, pick up some bones, do what you got to do, but once you have 50k, we can get started. So first of all, I usually like to look at the wiki page. So this is the Treasure Trail wiki page. It lists the easy, medium, hard, elite, and master clue rewards. So mostly you're going to want to stick to the easy, medium, hard rewards when you have a very low amount of money, because they will inherently be cheaper, but some of the elite rewards are pretty cheap as well. One item I was looking at was the vestment stoles, so I think we're going to try one of these. Now what I do next is I want to see how many of these are traded a day, because the only way to be 100% sure of the margin is to price check it. So I'm going to show you two different ways. Of course, I am sponsored by GE Tracker, so I do personally think that GE Tracker is easy to use, but I'm going to use OS Buddy Exchange just because it is a little bit easier to hop on right away. You don't need an account. But I'm going to look up the Guthix Crozier, and what we're looking for is the amount traded per day, because this graph isn't going to be super up to date on OS Buddy, but what is very useful still is the amount traded daily. So we can see roughly about 50 or 60. So you could expect to buy and sell one of these, maybe 1 or 2 an hour. It doesn't seem like a lot, but when you leave offers in all day, definitely can pay off. We're also going to look it up on GE Tracker here, and it's going to have pretty much the same information. Looks like about 50 or 60 traded a day, and you can see the general prices here. It does look like it has a pretty good margin, but we're going to assume you don't have access to that information, and we're just going to go manually check it, because that's the only way to be 100% sure. But now that we've checked that it trades enough, we know at least that we're going to get our money back if we flip this item. Because if there's only 10 or 20 traded a day, you might wait a day just to flip 2 of them, and that's pretty much break even at that point. So Guthix Crozier, we're just going to do a regular margin check. So we bought it for 12k. And we sold it for 5.7k. So yes, we did lose 7k there, but we can go ahead and now rebuy the item. We can afford 7 of them. You also do want to make sure the item is cheap enough that you can buy enough afterwards. So with 7 of them for 40k, and it looks good. So if we go back to G Tracker quickly, I can see how many have been traded in the last 4 or 5 hours. I think an offer like this might take half a day to complete, and it does seem like a long time, but if we look at our return here, so 40k is what we're spending on the items, and we're making about a 6.5k profit in each one. So we're looking to make double our money pretty well, which is extremely good. If you were doing that at a higher cash stack, you'd be laughing because that would be a ton of money. But the margin here is really good. I think this is promising, and we'll come back when we bought the items. Okay, so all the Guthics Croziers have bought reasonably quickly. A couple hours definitely for sure, but not too long. Now this is where sometimes I would recheck the price of the item. Since I don't actually have enough cash, I'm not even going to bother. But when you bought 10, 20, 30 of an item, it's definitely worth rechecking the price you're going to be selling it for, because it can affect you negatively if it's risen up or if it's crashed down. But in this case, we're just going to take the 12k and try to sell it for that. So we're going to pop it in there for 11,999. And I know a lot of people are going to mention undercutting. My stance on it is for items like this, it's kind of fair game. Only one person can legitimately be flipping this at a time. So it's, I know this sounds a little bit self-entitled, but it's kind of your item until you're done with it. Whereas higher volume items, they can be shared. Since most people will hit the buy-in limit and then someone else can do it, it's better to not undercut. But again, for items like this, this is my personal opinion, I feel like it's not a huge deal if you undercut. Anyway, with that out of the way, it looks like we're going to sell it for 84k, which is going to net us about 35k profit, which is pretty good. Alright guys, we're back, and we did sell off all the Guthics Croziers for 12k. Now a lot of people ask how long flips like this can take. This one took about 12 hours or half a day, but we did net about 37k in total. So you can see that flipping cheaper clue scroll rewards can be very profitable for the amount of money you have at least. I mean, technically we only have to do that, double our money like 6 or 7 more times, and we beat $1 million already. So it's really easy, and we'll go ahead and get a couple more examples going for you. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and find one more example for you guys. So I've been looking up some items, and again we're just back on the treasure trail page. Now what I was looking at was the crier hat, this one here. The crier bell I've done before, and the crier coat as well. Just a clue scroll reward. It's from medium clues. So we're going to go look at RS Buddy and go to crier hat. So these 3 tabs indicate what type of graph you want to look at. The month graph is going to give a data point of each day when you look at it, so that's what we're just going to keep it on. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. So each point is going to be 1 day, so it's kind of nice to see how many are traded per day, so you can kind of have a standardized view of it. So it looks like crier hats sell between 50 and 100 a day, so that's perfect. Still within the kind of rarer item category, but not the rarest of the rare. So yeah, that might be good. And you can also have a quick look and kind of see what the price trends is. We'll have a look at it on G Tracker, and again, the information should be pretty well the same. We can have a quick look at the margins, looking like 8 to 14k. Looks good, so we'll go ahead and price check this item. So crier hat, going to instantly buy it for somewhere around 15k, 14k, and we're going to instantly sell it for 9k. So it's about a 5k profit, not bad, 4.5k. So we'll do that item. Now if you ever come to an item that just does not have a good margin, then it's not a big deal because you didn't actually lose much money checking it. If this only had a 1k margin, I would just abandon it and not even do it. So we're going to go ahead and do, well, I'll do 5, well, 6. And yeah, so we'll come back when we flip the item. Okay, so we're back, and the crier hats did finally sell. Now this item did take a long time, and as you can see, we only bought 3 of them. So we're only profiting 2 times worth of the item. So I wouldn't really end up doing this again, I don't think. We only profited, well, 6K or something, not a lot, but you get the idea. This pretty much can be scaled up to any level, although at a certain point I wouldn't price check the item just because the risk can get really big. For like high expensive clue scroll items, sometimes I've price checked an item and you're losing a mil, and it's just not fun at that point. At that point I would start doing a different method and just try to guess or use third-party tools. But for this, you're not risking a lot. Easily just price check the items. Again, make sure that the amount traded per day is looking good, and if so, go ahead and do it. So I do have a couple videos on my channel that are from 1GP to 1 mil, 2 to be precise. I'll leave a link for those in the description as well. So yeah, let's go on with some example items. Alright, so now that we've gone over a couple example flips, I thought I would now go over a couple items, just break down where they are from and why I think they'll be good to flip. So to start off, I have 3 items here. Now, I picked these items specifically because they are not clue scroll items, but they are still similar to why clue scroll items are good. They don't trade a lot per day, but they still are active and people still need them. So to start off, first is the Elemental Talisman. This is a very cheap item. Usually you can buy it between 2 or 3k, and sometimes sells for 6 or 7k. This item is obtainable in the Abyss, and not a lot of people use it, but some people do. So it makes for a pretty decent item to flip when you don't have a lot of money. Next up is a Granite Armor piece. Used quite a bit more, and does cost more, maybe 30 or 40k, but this item still can work very well. Rare because it's still not a very widely used armor piece, but still has a niche market. Alright, next up is the Proselyte Armor set. Kind of like the Granite Armor, it's a bit of a niche item, very useful, so people still want it, but not used in everyday combat. So it leads to only being traded a couple hundred a day, and you can actually get really good margins on it. Next up is the Leaf Bladed Sword, or really any leaf bladed item. Again, very niche, only used for a certain amount of Slayer tasks, and the way you get this item is from a drop, so it leads to there only being a couple hundred traded a day, and good margins. Next up is an event item, Party Hat. I wouldn't really recommend this item that much, because it has a very low buying limit. You can only buy, I think, 5 of these every 4 hours, so you're not going to make much money on this, but still, sometimes you can have a decent margin. Might be worth trying. Next up is actually a Mystic Boot, Mystic Boot White, so it's just a rare monster drop, so because of that there aren't a lot traded every day, but still people want it for kind of fashionscape. So again, has a use. You could probably get a 5 to 10k margin on this item sometimes, just because people don't really buy this one, because I think it's more expensive than the regular Mystic Boot. Anyway, and last up is the clue scroll items. Now I kind of just picked 3 at random because of how the clue scroll works. There's kind of a similar amount of a lot of items entering the game because you don't have a choice in what item you get. So a lot of clue scroll items, almost all of them, will be traded just because it's a random reward. So all these rewards will even out and all the items will be coming into the game at a similar rate. Of course, some are just a lot better than others and will inherently trade more. But what we have here is the Blacksmith Helm. It's about a 100k item. Used to be really expensive, came out with the clue scroll expansion. Then we have the Brassican Shield, a much cheaper item, and of course this Aerodome and Kite Shield. Any God Wars rune items can trade quite a bit, but they're still pretty good to flip. Same with their trimmed counterparts, those work really well. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video about flipping from 1GP to 1 mil. Hopefully you got some more ideas on what items you can flip, and if you did enjoy the video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more flipping videos. Alright, have a good day guys, and I'll see you in the next video.